So we get up this morning to a sad video, me I tell you. 4 person burn in a serious car accident. Now it is understood that 2 of them is very serious, but 2 is not so serious. Bear in mind that there is no burn unit. Before we go any further into this video, more point that out. There is no burn unit in Jamaica, and I am recording this video March 18, 2024. And we cover a lot of these vlogs with persons getting burned, severely burned. And this morning one is no different. The accident is no different because one of the gentlemen in the video, me I tell you, say, trust me, if we make it, boy, I must give God thanks. Trust me. Yeah. And we see the politicians them come and go and change office, and nobody seems to care about a burn unit. And now this is the time when people are gonna blast me down in the comment section now. Dirty boy left me politician because I don't like hear the truth, but I care zero. The truth is the truth, and it's right in front of you. But until you knock on phone door, you will understand. Anytime one of your loved one get severely burned and you don't have the money, or you can't find the money in time, you have to do the GoFundMe and all of that for airlift your family overseas to get the proper treatment, then you will understand. Yeah, man. But guess what? As it is now, our favorite politicians in the power, so we no one hear nothing. You see people money are raised up and all these things, but no burn unit is put in place. Yeah, we have about 3 burn unit in Jamaica, but they are not operational. They're not up and running, so they're just there. And what about scrapping of the burn unit and combining it into one? All right. One big question: is it impossible for Jamaica to have a burn unit? Want to comment down below. Tell me if it is impossible for Jamaica to have a burnt unit. Cause I realize something, as me say, me not just talk, me do my research. Me not really see none of the Caribbean same way. When me say burnt unit, me mean unit can deal with severe burn victims. Not the looker, minor thing them. You talk about real severe burn. Like how them have to airlift people them. It's impossible for a Caribbean island to have a burnt unit. Talk to me down in the comment section. Now, with that being said, the official report is saying 4 injured in early morning ferry crash on highway. 4 people traveling in a Toyota Corolla motor car on the east-west highway this morning received burns after the vehicle crashed into the median at an intersection of the road. In a video which captured the ferry crash, one man was seen engulfed in flames. As I mentioned earlier, the video is not a pretty sight. According to information reaching JYTV newsroom, the men were traveling on the highway about 7:30 when on getting to the Borders entrance to the highway, another vehicle drove onto the highway. According to one of the occupants of the crashed vehicle, in order to avoid a collision with the vehicle that came onto the highway, the driver reportedly swerved and their Toyota Corolla crashed into the median before bursting into flames. Oh my God. So somebody bad drive them, JY family. So in order, to avoid a collision, the driver swing the vehicle out of that vehicle, and that was it for them. The 4 men managed to escape, but not before receiving burns. They were all taken to hospital. So, boy, as me say, It's not a pretty sight for one of them. So I hope that person don't succumb to his injuries. We are praying for him and the others, right? Okay, I will keep you guys posted.
This is Kaneka representing for Jamaica YouTube TV from straight out of Grangeville. Like, share, and subscribe.
Fallout,
Llewellyn's
the
shocking comments
discussions,
on Vibes Cartel Privy
yes,
Council
the
appeal.
heat from the Vibes Cartel Privy Council ruling continue. And this morning, for the first time, the DPP was responding since the judgment came down last Thursday morning. And she was asked by Tona and Ricardo about the advice she gave to the judge in the trial after it was revealed that there was an attempt to bribe the jurors.
DPP, having been told that all of your jurors in 2014 had been offered a $500,000 bribe, why did you not advise the judge that it was probably best to dismiss the jury, which was now obviously tainted?
You see, you are now trying to get me to discuss the matter, and I told you that I didn't wish to.
No, but certainly this point, DPP, is important because here the law lords are saying you advised the judge that you were prepared to proceed even though you knew that the entire panel, 11 jurors, the forewoman told you, had been offered bribes. Wouldn't that mean in your judgment, DPP, that the entire jury, as the law lords have now found, was contaminated and should have been terminated or discharged?
Well, first of all, I am not the judge.
True, but you gave advice that you were prepared to proceed, and what I'm trying to understand.
We were prepared to proceed.
But why were you prepared to proceed with a jury that was contaminated?
No. All the other factors, that some of which I cannot go into in terms of.
So you were thinking about cost. You were thinking about how long the matter had been going.
We were also thinking of security issues. There were a lot of other issues that we cannot go into the public domain, and what our information from the foreman was, what she was saying, was that all of the attempts had to do with acquittal. Clearly, if it had been the other way, we would have, clearly, given the overriding objective of any case, which is fairness to the accused. But what would have been perhaps planted in the mind of the jurors is, okay, you need to acquit. And remember that these persons, at least two of them, are very famous. So it would have been, as far as the prosecution, when we discussed it, we would have been those ones at a great disadvantage. This is not the first time.
But with the greatest respect, DPP, that's not persuasive, because what I want you to focus on is the fact that the process now had been corrupted and contaminated, and you advised the judge that you were comfortable proceeding with a contaminated and corrupt process.
This is not the first time that I have had to deal with jury tampering.
And be that as it may, in the exercise of your judgment, why did you not see it fit to bring to an end a matter that had been corrupted?
After 64 days of trial?
Isn't the interest of protecting the impartial trial greater than the length of time that had elapsed?
I agree with you on paper, but I have done other cases where there has been jury tampering to the great negative of the prosecution. I have seen cases, I've seen jury inquiries where the juror, having been questioned, it was quite clear that it was either an accused person or an accused person's relative that approached the juror. And the juror was able to indicate to the court that it did not make any difference. He would still be able to have an impartial situation in his mind. I have had the experience. I've prosecuted many cases. And when asked, I have indicated that we don't have any problem. So in other words, we are prepared to take our chances and just try to make sure that you have a very powerful address. But this what happened in a couple of the cases I've dealt with didn't happen during summation. It happened before we got to summation. So I have had the experience before of jury tampering. And I have been asked before, what is my view, being the prosecutor in the matter? And even after the inquiry, it's a judgment. It's quite clear that you don't know if the juror is telling you everything about the encounter with the relative of the accused, but you are willing to take the chance nonetheless. So it has happened. I mean, both myself and Mr. Taylor, who was the prosecutor, we didn't drop from the sky. It's not the first case that we are both having to deal with. And in our experience, we have had to deal with cases where you have issues arising.
With the benefit of hindsight, do you regret the submissions you made?
You are not going to get me there. You are not going to get me.
Well, quite an interesting 5 minutes of exchanges there. And the takeaway for me is the DPP seems to be relying on the fact that in her long prosecutorial career, she has made a judgment call, several judgment calls, in a number of instances of jury tampering. And I wonder, does that make it legally correct? It might be a call that has been wrong. Because surely, based on what we now have from the Privy Council, jury misconduct undermines the fundamental principle of the justice system of the accused being entitled to a fair trial. And the fact that you have been doing it several occasions before does not make it right. Those who have been in such matters, do they have cause, reason to wonder at minimum? It is, Madam DPP, quite a space we are in.
So right then and there, you can hear Paula Llewellyn confessing to wrongdoing, breaching of the defendant's rights. Yeah, man. She said, listen, enough time them something are going on, and we just say, yo, you know what? Carry on, judge. Carry on, Your Honor, because the case must go on. No, the Privy Council are sure it up big time, and everybody and their mother can see. So, more and more want to think down in the comment section, but me know say right now, Paula Llewellyn say a retrial she is seeking. So, should Paula Llewellyn admit defeat, or should she seek a retrial? Comment down below and tell me what you think. Now we have some whole heap of happenings going in Jamaica. So check out these random happenings in Jamaica. Comment down below and tell us what you think about all these things. Trust me, can't keep up. Me try my best, but it's hard.
A suspected St. James female gangster who was allegedly out on bail in relation to a murder was on Thursday shot and killed in Westmoreland. The aunt of a St. James gang leader was reportedly shot over 20 times in what authorities believe to be a contract killing. More in this report. In what's now being considered a contract killing, the police in Westmoreland confirmed that the woman who died from a gun attack Thursday is the aunt of a St. James gangster. Sudeen Hilton was reportedly shot over 20 times at her business establishment in Leamington, Westmoreland at around 3 in the afternoon. Hilton is originally from Glendoven in St. James. She operated a clothing store in the New Road area and was at her business establishment when men traveling in a motor vehicle drove into the community. The men reportedly brandished high-powered weapons and opened fire, hitting Hilton over 20 times in the upper body before escaping in the waiting motor car. Hilton died on the spot before locals summoned the police.
Upon arrival, the scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue for post-mortem examination. Her death brought to light more details surrounding her relocation to Westmoreland and who she was to the police.
She was part of a gang, and she's actually the mother of one of the gang leader inside of St. James Space.
So she was in a gang.
She was in a gang, charged for murder, on bail to stay out of the St. James Space, and we presume that this is an extension of the gang conflict involving the gang that she's a member of and other gangs that they're in conflict with.
Investigators say Hilton is the immediate relative of reputed St. James gang leader Dwayne Twele Minto, who is the leader of the 1452 or Jim gang, which operates out of Glendevon community. Hilton's said to be Minto's maternal aunt who raised him.
As the police launch an investigation into a series of infernos in the communities of Metcalf Street, Rodney and Burke Road in Whitfield Town, Kingston 13, one resident asserts that these fires are not accidents but rather deliberate acts of arson, stemming from a vicious gang feud gripping the area. Celine Campbell shares this development.
In the past 2 weeks, 3 fires have occurred in Whitfield Town, Kingston 13. Although the St. Andrew South Police have yet to establish a connection among the 3 incidents, their investigation suggests that the latest fire could be an act of arson. Over in the community of Metcalf on Friday night, more than 30 people, including children, were left homeless as fire gutted the premises, destroying several homes. Residents are now living in fear.
Everybody afraid of them life right now, understand? Because what is going on right now, we don't see where them a fight for. We don't see where them a fight for. We don't see the reason they kill my family and just that, and then when come back, when don't satisfy, when burn down the whole place.
He explains most of the houses in the area are vacant as residents are forced to flee. Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for St. Andrews Southwest, Dr. Angela Brownburk, in a tour of the fire-ravaged spaces, expressed gratitude that no lives were lost during the fiery incidents. Dr. Brownburk emphasizes the growing frustration in the area has wide-ranging implications following the closure of the Burke Road Basic School.
But the hard part of it is that it is your savings, it is your investment, it is your peace of mind, it is starting all over again. And it is also happening in some cases in the midst of a level of violence in the community. I believe that the frustration for a lot of persons also is how close the police post is, and the fact that when things are happening on the ground, you can't get any support from the police. And we have heard the JCF say that for those joint command posts that they are static and therefore they can't move. But it is very frustrating to have either a fire taking place or shooting taking place and not to be able to count on police that's just close by.
Meanwhile, Senior Superintendent of Police for St. Andrew South, SSP Kirk Ricketts, admits the area has been tense following the ongoing gang feud. SSP Ricketts notes the police have been proactive while urging residents to play their part by reporting what they know.
Here to our residents within the space, particularly those persons in the lower section of Whitfield Town, to continue to work with the police to reach out to us, to call us about these incidents. We have some youngsters in the space, very young men who continue to try and create mayhem and shooting at each other. You, as a resident, need to continue to work with the police, try and give us as much information as you can so we can interdict their activities.
Celine Campbell for CVM News.
A family finds themselves forcibly evicted from a property they claim to have called home for decades. Allegedly, their family member who owned the property sold the land, and the new owner is demanding possession. The distressed family is now seeking justice for what they deem an unjust expulsion from their long-term residence following the aggressive eviction allegedly meted out to them by police and bailiffs. Celine Campbell has this report.
Where do we go from here? That's the question former residents of a house on 144 Spanish Town Road are asking. On Friday morning, allegedly without warning, the family of 8 were forced to vacate the property they once called home. And as they stare at what now remains, they're forced to ponder their next move.
About 10:30, police and bailiff went inside and just start tear down the place. And when an inspector, when me say, why you not doing this? Them said this is an order from the court. The judge sent them to pull it down. I said, no, you cannot pull down the place because they didn't care with the court. Him said, we don't have to go to court because we're a squatter on this land.
This resident, who we'll call Jackie, says she's been living on the property for over 40 years. Jackie alleges the land is owned by her cousin, who in the past had expressed plans to sell the property, but later told them she withdrew.
She called back, withdrew it and said she's not selling it, and him carry her to court. Him say, I go sue her if she don't sell him it.
However, in a letter sent by attorneys at law Xavier Main and Company, on behalf of the new owners dated August 15, 2023, the occupants were ordered to quit and deliver up possession of all that was on the premises.
So we don't go to court. We don't know them to the court. The order that's we signed to it as them to come throw we out. So all the first we see that.
No, they never gonna court.
Never gonna court.
So they never get no notice.
Yeah, we get notice one time.
When?
1 month last year.
1 month notice.
Yeah, and we don't get back a next paper from that.
Meanwhile, Councillor for the Greenwich Town Division, Carl Blake, says he was called to the scene by the residents. He describes the manner in which they were evicted as quite unbecoming.
It could be done in a more humane way, because it's human being we're dealing with. The way it is approached, get all this furniture out on the sidewalk, fence lick down, all that bulldozing, down, throw people bed and lick off them door, and just throw them things and all that.
Councillor Blake says he has sought legal advice on the issue as lingering questions remain unanswered. Celine Campbell for CVM News.
And residents of Hopewell, Hanover are rejoicing as they finally have their own police station. This development comes as a relief for the community, which has seen a surge in crime recently and previously had to depend on the distant Sandy Bay police station. Ronaldo Adams has more.
Residents of Hopewell, Hanover are singing praises for Superintendent Sharon Beeput, who lobbied for the community to have its own police station, which was officially opened on Friday by the Minister of National Security, Dr. Horace Chang, and outgoing Commissioner of Police, Major General Anthony Anderson. The new crime-fighting facility was originally slated to be completed last October. However, the residents lamented that work on the police station was moving at a steady pace until the then commanding officer for the parish, Superintendent Beeput, was transferred to the police station at the Sangsters International Airport in Montego Bay, St. James. Superintendent Beeput says the grand opening was a dream come true.
And I just want to say thank you to the Commissioner of Police, because this will also be his legacy as well as my legacy. This police station is here to serve the people of Hopewell, and I want them to enjoy it. I want you to come and use the facility and be friends of the police. The way we went about getting this, I'm sure by the end of the year, the crime situation within the space, if there was, it should be lower than the time we last had one. So people, I'm asking you, I love you all. My tenure was sudden from the parish, but wherever I am, I continue to enjoy and I continue to love this parish because my legacy is right here in Hopewell.
Echoing thanks is Councillor for the Hopewell Division, Lennox Frey, who welcomes the new police station amid growing safety concerns.
And it's a warm feeling to have a station of this technological advance here in Hopewell. Hopewell is a fast developing community. It's a hub where most persons from other communities travel through on a daily. So anywhere you find a community that is growing, you'll find that it will grow in terms of economic and it also grow in terms of crime. So this is a welcoming thing to the community of Hopewell, and we must applaud ourselves as citizens and also from the aspect of the Hanover Municipal Corporation for well done and from the national security point of view as well.
The new station is expected to house over 30 police officers whose tasks will be to serve and protect the people of Hopewell and the surrounding areas, now seeing a surge in crime. Ronaldo Adams for CVM News.
JY family, come on man, come on. You can't reach so far and don't press the like button. Hit the bell icon to be notified. And this is the channel you need to subscribe to that you didn't know you need to subscribe to. Do the right thing, man.
Me love Jamaica, me not sell out. Them try clip we wings, somehow we can't fly out. But when we there yard, nothing nice like Jamaica. Roast breadfruit and banana. Under the tree with a glass.